That's a little bit more than one shot, so we'll give you a little bit more than one crime. I got 3 crimes I'm going to cover today. The first one involves a double homicide in Kingwood, New Jersey. The second one involves a verbal altercation where police responded, and I got some body camera footage prior to the incident and then after the incident. 2 roommates are having an argument. Both have psychological problems. So you watch the incident and you let me know if you think the police dropped the ball on this, because an hour later, after they thought they resolved the dispute, one of the 2 were dead. And then the third one involves a man who went postal, literally killed 2 people in a post office. But yet prior to that he killed 2 people in Wayne, New Jersey, and he was also linked to another murder a few years back or prior to that. All of these murders, he was dressed in a black ninja outfit, carrying a samurai sword. So let me know what you think in comments below. Sometimes the quietest homes hide the loudest pain. Kingwood, New Jersey, a place where nothing happens. A quiet, wooded community. A place where people wave to their neighbors and lock their doors more out of habit than fear. That silence shattered on a late Wednesday night in June. The son Gabriel, 26 years old, had come home, back from college, back from a life he couldn't quite hold together. Neighbors say he was troubled. Police records agree. Assault, drunk driving, drug possession, and years earlier, the chilling story of a family dog shot dead over a middle school grudge. Gabriel didn't find peace at school. He didn't find it at home either. And it was Becky's home, the quiet one at the end of the lane, became the scene of something this town hadn't seen in decades. A murder. Neighbor Kevin O'Lear said it was close to midnight. He was asleep on the couch. That's when the first gunshots woke him up. 3, maybe 4. Then a pause. Then more. By Saturday morning, state police confirmed the unthinkable. Andrew and Wanda were murdered. The son Gabriel, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was a murder-suicide. Hunterdon County Prosecutor Anthony Kearns said it simply. It appears that a husband and his wife died at the hands of their son, who then killed himself. Wanda had dreams. She had stories to tell. Her book, Without Surrender, was a love letter to her fallen brother. In the dedication, she wrote, "For Andy and Gabe." And now, her words are a haunting echo of a love that couldn't fix what was broken. "This doesn't surprise me at all," said one neighbor. "It was the first thing that came to my gut, that it was them." Another added, "It's been that way a long time, troubled." But not everyone saw this coming. Christina O'Lear, who recently befriended Wanda, remembered her as a sweet and hopeful young lady. Wanda told her Gabe was back home, that she had hoped he'd find a job, find direction. She wanted better for him. In the end, no one really knows what pushed Gabriel over the edge. Was it anger, mental issues, despair, or something darker, something deeper that had been brewing for years behind closed doors? This wasn't a war zone. It wasn't a crime-ridden city. It was a quiet house in a quiet town where love wasn't enough to stop the pain. In memory of Andrew and Wanda was Becky, and to all the families living with unseen storms.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello, I just had a police officer at my house, and I'm trying to report this, but I think my roommate is dead.
Okay, do you want to do CPR?
I think it's too late.
In the quiet township of Wayne, New Jersey, a tragic story unfolded in November of 2021. One that involved mental illness, a fatal act of violence, and questions about whether this death could have been prevented. This is the case of Frank Rance and the murder of his roommate, Frank Maggiore. It was determined that during the later altercation, Frank Rance had strangled his roommate to death. The first visit by police did not result in intervention.
What's his name, Frank?
Frank.
No, what's his name?
Frank.
Oh, you're both Frank?
Yes.
I gotcha, okay. Did you happen to see his social security check in the mail?
I have the mailbox. I check all the time. It's not there if you want to look.
No, he's saying that you saw it and you tore it up and threw it in the trash.
He stole it.
Okay, he's saying.
Of course he's saying that.
Right.
He stole it. They always deliver. I've not been cut off for disability.
You're not.
Someone would have been notified by now.
I get it.
He's the only person that has a key to the mailbox. What if he steals it again?
There's nothing in here.
What if he steals it again? He's the only person that has a key to the mailbox.
I get it.
They would have told me if I cut off from Social Security.
No, I completely get it. You're gonna be civil with him? God, like you're not like there's not gonna be any arguments or anything when I leave. I know it's frustrating.
After they left, the argument turned deadly.
Chief of Daniels.
Hello, I just got a police officer at my house, and I'm trying to report this, but I think my roommate is dead.
Okay. Do you want to do CPR?
I think it's too late.
If you're able to do it, I can walk you through it.
Honestly, he's scared.
And he's your roommate?
He was.
Upon arriving at the
What's
scene,
going
they
on,
find Frank Rance outside.
Let's say it didn't go so well.
Huh?
Let's say it didn't go so well.
What didn't go so well?
Frank didn't go so well.
What do you mean?
We got into an argument.
Did you guys get physical?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Where is it? Frank!
What happened, Frank?
I kind of lost it in there.
Listen, for your safety and my safety,
Honestly.
I'm just going to put you in handcuffs.
Exactly, yeah.
All right? We understand each other? We have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that? Thanks, Frank.
Rance was arrested at the scene and charged with first-degree murder. Investigators say the motive stemmed from a delusional belief that Maggiore had stolen his Social Security money. At the time of the killing, both men were participants in a supportive housing program run by SERVE Behavioral Health Systems, a nonprofit that places individuals with mental health illnesses into shared living arrangements. This wasn't just a tragic fight between roommates. Both Rance and Maggiore had documented mental illnesses, including schizophrenia. Rance was known to have delusional thoughts, and yet the two were placed together with minimal supervision. Following the homicide, the Maggiore family filed lawsuits, not just against Rance, but against the Wayne Police Department and SERVE Behavioral Health. They alleged that the system failed Frank Maggiore in multiple ways, by ignoring warning signs, failing to remove him from harm's way, and placing him with a volatile roommate without adequate oversight. According to reports, caseworkers were supposed to check in weekly, but that didn't always happen. There were warning signs also that Ranch's behavior was escalating, including increasing paranoia. Yet, there was no documented intervention. This case also raises important questions about police response protocols. Should the officers have done more during the first call? Should one of them or both roommates have been separated? Was there a breakdown in communication between police and mental health services? Now, as a retired state trooper, I understand the challenges these officers face in the field. But when mental illness, domestic cohabitation, and conflict intersect, the margin for error shrinks fast. Did the officers have access to mental health history? Did they notify SERVE the disturbance? These are the kinds of questions we need to ask, not to assign blame, but to improve how we respond to these fragile situations. At its core, this tragedy is about much more than one violent act. It speaks to a larger crisis, how we house and support people with serious mental illnesses, and how systems meant to protect them often leave dangerous gaps. Mixing individuals with unstable mental states in tight, unsupported living conditions is a recipe for disaster. And yet, these arrangements continue across the country, often with little follow-up, oversight, or coordination between mental health providers and local authorities. What happened in Wayne, New Jersey, isn't an isolated case, but is a painful reminder that one missed warning sign can lead to a life lost. The system failed. This case be the subject of my next true crime book? It's possible, but regardless, it's a story told fully, honestly, and with the hope that we learn from it. If you want more breakdowns like this, on real cases with real consequences, subscribe, follow, and share.
Three of the dead were post office employees. Ridgewood police say Joseph Harris is under arrest after a 4-hour standoff.
Postal worker is being held at $1 million bail in this New Jersey murder spree that, as you said, began at
The Ridgewood post office, they say he was heavily armed.
They called him the Ninja Killer. But who was he? And what drove him to become one of the most shocking workplace mass murderers in American history? Joseph M. Harris was a former computer technician for the post office. He was described by coworkers as quiet but intense. In 1988, he was fired after repeated conflicts with his supervisors. That firing lit a slow-burning fuse. Over the next 3 years, Harris became increasingly isolated and paranoid. He began collecting weapons. He created homemade explosives and held a grudge against the postal system that rejected him. On October 10, 1991, Harris put on a ninja costume, grabbed his Uzi machine gun, a samurai sword, and grenades, and broke into the home of his former supervisor, Carol Ott, who lived in Wayne, New Jersey. Carol and her fiancé, Cornelius Caston Jr., were murdered in cold blood. But Harris wasn't finished. This was just a prelude to what he had planned for the following morning. On the morning of October 11th, Harris stormed into this post office, located in Ridgewood, New Jersey. This is where he once worked. Armed with his ninja samurai sword and Uzi, he killed 2 postal employees, Joseph Vanderpew and Donald McNaught. He also took hostages, and at one point attempted to detonate one of his homemade explosives. However, it did not go off. The terrifying standoff lasted hours, ultimately ending in his surrender, but the damage was done. A post-criminal investigation would reveal that these killings, and the ones in Wayne, were not the only killings that he had committed. We'll discuss that incident in another video. If you found this case compelling, don't forget to subscribe, like, and make a comment. I'm contemplating using this case as my next true crime book. Let me know if you think it's a worthwhile endeavor.